Hey Stampers, it's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Today I am going to be showcasing a couple of my projects that we did at my Stampa-Alooza event yesterday. So these are just, I had one person who wasn't able to make it, so I've got these projects left over, and I thought I would share with you how we made all these. So the first one is one of my favorite things to do, a shaker card. And this one features quite a few things from the 2021 holiday catalog. It has the decorative masks, which are called the Adorning Designs decorative masks. And there's 4 of them in here. We're going to be using the snowflake one, but there's also a kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, little squares, kind of polka dot type things. There's like this, I call it kind of like a gingerbread kind of gingham, not gingham, but kind of little scallop, little heart things. And then there's also like a candy stripes on there. So you get 4 of those in there. We're going to be using the snowflakes. And then we're also going to be using 2 of my favorite sets that were this year's new products, and they are a bundle. So the first one is the Arctic Bears, and it comes with this adorable die cut set, which I'm going to be using this more so than the stamp set today. So there's 3 different polar bear dies. There's some icicles, a glacier, a couple glaciers, and then this fun kind of hill. So that's called the Arctic Bears bundle, and it's $47.50. So you save 10% on those. And then the other one is Words of Cheer. And on this one, I'm using the Happy. So what's fun about this die is you get the layering pieces along with the word. So you've got the happy and then the layering piece that gives you these little branches or kind of twigs or whatever, or the holly. And then the same thing with the cheer. You've got the words that cut out and then this little decorative piece that layers behind it. And then it also has all these other additional dies that cut out the images from the stamp set. So we're going to get started. And since I've already, since this was a leftover project, I've got everything die cut already, so that'll save on some time. And then how I did my shaker frame is I took 2 different dies. So from the Scalloped Contours die cut or die set, I am taking this little scallop frame. So I cut this out in Night and Navy. And so what this one does is it just kind of cuts, you know, the frame. It doesn't cut out the center part. So to cut out the center part, once I cut this out first, I then cut again and I cut out my center to make a frame. So I used my stitched rectangular framelits and then this contour die to make my frame. So that's just another way of making your shaker cards. So we're going to do the background first. And so what I'm using is my Stamparatus. And this kind of, it helps when you're using stencils because you can place your mask and then the magnets will actually hold this in place so your paper doesn't shift around. So that kind of makes it a little bit easier when you're stenciling. So then I'm just going to place, this is a Misty Moonlight cardstock. I'm just going to place this inside my Stamparatus. I'm just going to line it up a little bit, how I want figure out where I want my snowflakes. And then I will place the magnet down. So now my stencil won't move around on me. And then I'm going to be using the Night of Navy. So this was Misty Moonlight cardstock. And then I'm going to do a darker ink. So I'm going to do Night of Navy. We did use the foam brayer, and this is retired, but I was going to try today and see how my blending brushes would work. My only concern is these might be still a little damp from yesterday. Oh, they're not too bad. Oh, it's a little wet. So it might be a little vibrant when I apply the ink. So we're going to try the blending brushes today. So very carefully, you're just going to kind of in a swirling motion, just kind of apply your ink. And when you're using the blending brushes, you want to make sure that you always have your index finger kind of holding the brush head. This way you're not applying pressure back here and potentially breaking your blending brush, which would be a very sad day. So this is, we're just doing kind of just some swirling motions. This is a pretty intricate die, so I'm trying to be careful not to lift up those little plastic pieces. So kind of, and actually the brush works pretty good because it's able to get into these little intricate openings. Yeah, my event yesterday, oh, it was so much fun. We were there all day. I had made several, well, we did, what was it, 5 projects, and they were pretty, I had warned them. I said, these are super putsy projects, because I knew we were going to be stamping here all day, so, but yeah, we were there from 10 to 2, stamping away. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. And then I sold a bunch of my retired stamp sets, which I still have more to sell, so I'll probably put some more, I'll do another sale here in a bit. Okay, so once you're happy with that, then what's nice about having this magnet here is I can lift this up and see what it looks like. Oh, pretty, pretty. So if I missed a spot, like maybe down here I want to add just a little bit more, I can plop this back down and then just add a little bit more ink. That way I knew exactly where my image was. So now that it's done, all you have to do is, I usually keep a little container of water near my desk, and this just rinses off with water, so to clean it. So that's all you need to do for that. So I'm just going to put this aside so I don't get ink on everything. And then same thing with your blending brushes. Once you're done, just rinse it out with water and then let it dry. I do try and keep, with my brushes, kind of like all my blues together and purples, and then like the reds and oranges and yellows kind of separate from each other. Or you can just buy multiple brushes, and that way you've got a brush for every color, which is kind of where I'm headed. Okay, so there's that. I'm just going to put this aside. Okay, so now this will get layered onto, I did a quarter sheet of white cardstock because I wanted it to pop a little bit. So I kind of like to do multiple layers when I do my card making. So I'm going to put this onto a quarter sheet of white. So my blue was 3 3/4 by 5. My white is 4 by 5 1/4. And then of course my, it's like I need a new paper trim, or a new blade on my paper cutter. A little time to sharpen the blade. Okay. And then again, this is just a half a sheet of 8.5 and 11 piece of cardstock cut in half. And then I folded, you're scoring it at 4 1/4 on the 8.5 inch side, so that your final size is 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then it's going to open portrait. Or I'm sorry, landscape. Okay, and then this is going to get attached to my card base, which was Night and Navy. So my 2 colors were Misty Moonlight and Night and Navy. And Misty Moonlight is an in color that will be only available for a short amount of time. Okay, so now that's all done. And then the other piece is going to be for my inside. So I'm just going to stamp that now. Actually, I'm going to stamp it in Misty. So I'm going to do my little polar cub on the bottom in Smoky Slate. And then I will do my greeting in Misty Moonlight. Make sure I'm stamping straight. Okay. And then that is pretty much, the stamping is done for that card. And then this will get layered on my inside. And again, I like to do, when I'm doing darker cardstock, I like to have a neutral quarter sheet of cardstock to stamp my greeting and my sentiment. Okay, so there's that. Now on to the shaker card. Okay, so what you're going to do is I've got my frame, and I'm going to, it's got the little stitching on it. I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to use just a little bit of glue because I want to attach my my icicles. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here just so that, oh, I did this on the opposite side, which is fine. Well, actually, I'm just going to, let's see here. We'll spread this over because my icicle should be on this side. So we'll just kind of hold, just as it's holding it in place. Just kind of hold that till it's dry. Okay, and then I'm going to take some tear and tape, and I am just going to go all the way across because I want my window sheet to adhere. And I find that this tear and tape works a little bit better than like the liquid glue, because sometimes it like shifts around and stuff, or like the mono adhesive. So, but I'm just using some tear and tape. Whoops. Very sticky. I apologize, it's Sunday. Jeff is vacuuming, so bear with us as you listen to him vacuum above me. Okay. And then I will remove this tear and tape. Okay, and then I'm going to add my window sheet. And again, with the window sheets, if you don't have, you know, this is like, or it's called acetate, you can also use packaging from like when you get stuff. Sometimes if it's heavy enough, you can use just some of your packaging, and that way you're kind of recycling some stuff. But this is just some scrap pieces that I had, so it worked good. So now I've got my window, got that acetate on there. And now what we're going to do to make the shaker part, you need to build up the walls. So I'm going to be using the foam adhesive strips. And these are nice because it's double-sided foam. So I always start with, looks like I got a little extra gem there. Okay, I'm going to start on my long side, and I'm going to go kind of to the edge here, and then I just cut this, and then I'll do, oops, oh, we're sticking there. I'm going to do my other side. And then you want to make sure that you're right up against each of these foam pieces, because you don't want any openings for your sequins to fall out. So again, butt that right up against that other edge of your shaker wall. And then same thing. So now I've got no spots where my sequins will fall out. So then you'll do the same thing on this side. So butt this up against the other wall, and then trim off the excess. Just set those aside. Okay. And then I like to take a little bit of like anti-static powder, and I just want to get rid of some, so I don't want my sequins sticking to my foam. So I just kind of go around the edges a little bit, and we'll just set that aside for now, because now I want to assemble my happy. So on this, again, I'm going to use my liquid glue and just add a little bit to my happy. And this is the silver foil paper that I die cut. And then this will get assembled onto the white happy that I had already die cut. And you'll just layer this on. Oops, what am I doing? Upside down, Linda. Oh boy. Okay. There's that. Oh, my fingers are super sticky here. Okay. And then once that's all layered how you like it, clean off my fingers. Super sticky. Okay. Then we're going to do our the fun part, the shaker. So before I forget, I want to make sure I've got some dimensionals. Okay. So we are going to, so I kind of have my card and I'm going to have my window up here. So that is kind of where I'm going to place my sequins here on the card. So again, I'm going to just do a little bit of this anti-static powder because I don't want my sequins sticking. And I'm just going to do 2 scoops. This is a little kind of a craft spoon. I just love it. It's got 2 scoops on it, but it works really good for scooping up your sequins. Okay. And then, so I kind of look, move this around here, because then I want my polar bear. Try to put him down first, sorry. And we'll just have him about there. And I do like to pop him up. So I'm going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of him. Actually, I might do, where is my, I think I need to do a little mini dimensional on his head. There we go. So I will place him then right about there. I'm just going to move these off to the side. And that looks good. So then we'll press him down. And then I think that's where I want that. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the backing on the foam adhesive. And then we will place this onto the card. So that looks good. And then for the happy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 dimensionals. I'm going to stack them because this foam is a little bit higher than our dimensionals, the foam strips. So I'm going to put 2 dimensionals back to back. That way it gives it some height. And then I will put a little bit of adhesive here to hold the rest of the happy. And then I'm just going to kind of smooth it out. So this will dry clear, which is nice. Kind of do it like that. Put a little bit here. Just to hold that in place. And there we go. So there is a fun little shaker card. So super easy to do. And of course, with Christmas coming, there's, you know, the possibilities are endless for your shaker card. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for a couple more projects that I'll be doing that were from my Stampalooza project or event. All right. Thanks again, guys. Bye.